So this is obviously condensed, yeah? Okay, so date today is 15th of November, and we're doing Canto 3, chapter 32, verse number 29. Om Ajnanam Chakshurmittamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vande Nandavajastrinam Padarenam Avikshmasha Yasam Harikato Kitam Panati Bhuvanattrayam. Okay. Yata Mahan Aham Rupas Trivrit Pancha Vidhaswarar Ekadasha Vidhastasya Vapurandam Jagadyatha. Did I get the right words? Okay. Okay, so, huh? What happened? This is? Okay. Yeah, right. Okay. Nice, nice class, but he never spoke about the words. Very good. 1 hour spent. What do you speak, Prabhu? Yata Mahan Aham Rupas Trivrit Pancha Vidhaswara Ekadasha Vidhastasya Vapur Andam Jagadyatha. Yatha Mahanaham Rupas Trivrit Pancha Vidhaswara Ekadasha Vidhastasya Vapur Andam Jagadyatha. Gentlemen, Ekadasha Vidhastas Vapurandam Jagadyatha. Ladies, gentle ladies. Yatha Mahanaham Rupa Trivrat Pancha Vidhasvara Ekadasha Vidhastasya Vapurandam Jagadyatha. I haven't seen Chiri for quite a while. Where is he? Huh? He's in where? Dam. Oh, he's in the Dam. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I miss him. Yatha, as Mahan, the Mahatattva. Aham Rupa, the false ego. Trivrit, the three modes of material nature. Panchavidha, five material elements. Swarat, the individual consciousness. Ekadashavidha, the 11 senses. Tasya, of the living entity. Vapu, the material body. Andam, the Brahmanda. Jagat, the universe. Yatha, from which or from whom. Okay, translation Srila Prabhupada ki jai. From the total, okay, we can do call and repeat. From the total energy, the Mahatattva, I have manifested the false ego, the three modes of material nature, the five material elements, the individual consciousness, the 11 senses, and the material body. Similarly, the entire universe has come from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so this purport. The Supreme Lord is described as Mahapada. Mahapada in English, there's actually a cognate word in English for Mahapada. Megapath. So Maha becomes mega into English. and pada becomes path in English. So the mega path. Wide, what is it? Wide and broad, the gates to the heaven. Don't they say in the Bible? So Mahatpada. So that, which means that the total material energy known as Mahat Tattva is lying at his lotus feet. The origin of the total energy of the cosmic manifestation is the Mahat Tattva. From the Mahat Tattva, all the other 24 divisions have sprung, namely the 11 senses, the 5 senses, 5 material elements, and then consciousness, intelligence, and false ego. Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of the Mahat Tattva, and therefore, in one sense, because everything is an emanation from the Supreme Lord, there is no difference between Lord and the cosmic manifestation. I'll stop there and then just we'll go through that and then I'll continue from there again. Okay, these kind of verses are obviously, as you can see, because you might have just thought, oh my God, I thought we'll finish with Sankhya, the Mahat Tattva, the elements, the sense objects, the Chinmatras and the Tanmatras and the Jiva, the Paramatma, the Andakosha, the Hiranyagarbha. We've done some quite complex philosophy throughout the third canto, didn't we? We have. But again, finally at the end, we thought we might just take it easy, but Kapila Muni is going back again to the basics. So this is very complex, but at the same time, profound. Do you understand what the word profound means? Profound means like 5-star significance. So you take the word significance and multiply it by 5 times, it becomes profound. So it's complex, but it's also profound. So I remember someone said to me when I came to Krishna consciousness, God knows how long, anyway, 24, 25 years. Someone said to me, Krishna consciousness, I said, I was just completely petrified at what's going on here. So I think his name was Padmanayan Prabhu. He said to me, Krishna consciousness is so simple, you might just miss it. It's so simple that you might just miss it. That was my first visit. Shook my world. What is he talking about? So these verses are very complex, but at the same time very profound, because there's a lot to learn about these verses. So the best way to learn these verses is actually, these verses are much more expanded in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's 6 conversations in Chaitanya Charitamrita which are extremely important. Keep going them again and again and again and again and again, and you will still have more realizations, and you finally connect back to this, and you'll see exactly what Prabhupada meant, that's the final, PhD, this is the post-graduation, that's the PhD studies, we understand that. 6 conversations in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah? You ready? Count. Number 1. The conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Extremely important philosophical logic. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was just coming out of a university as a professor in logic. Nyaya. So he's just out there and he was speaking with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So you'll hear a lot of logic in his conversations. Then his next significant conversation was with Ramananda Rai. That was very significant. You have to go through that step by step. Yeah? 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 13, 14. Just keep going there. And then the next conversation you have to be very carefully listening to is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Prakashananda Saraswati. Prakashananda, the Adishankaracharya's disciple there. That's very important. The next one is when he has a conversation with Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami says, Ke Ame, who am I? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jive Sarupa Hoy, Krishna Nitya Das. Yeah? Then the next conversation is very important, which is number 5. Are we counting? His conversation with Rupa Goswami in Kashi. Very extremely potent. Yeah? And finally, there's one more conversation. There's actually two I debate, but the one with, again, when he's returning back, he has another conversation. This one he has, Rupa Goswami returns back to Jagannath Puri to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he establishes how Rupa, with his own Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disciples, in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's close associates, how Rupa Goswami is at a very different level, and then he has a little conversation there. So these conversations are very important. The reason I refer to them is because that will help us put these words into context. So Ramananda Rai, after discussing a lot of philosophy, all of a sudden he gets this realization and he looks at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and says, "You are that Supreme Personality of Godhead. I can tell that you are that Supreme Personality of Godhead." He sees that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turns back to him and says, that is the mentality, that is the attitude of a devotee. That he sees Krishna everywhere. A very humble position. Without saying, yeah, I'm the Supreme Personality of God. He says, that's very amazing you say that, because he says, Sthavara Jangama Dekhe, Na Dekhe Tara Murti. Sarvatra hoye nija ishtadeva spurti. Savara jangama dekhe na dekhe tara murti. Sarvatra hoye nija ishtadeva spurti. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to Ramananda Rai, you are such a nice devotee that wherever you see God. And that's why you're calling me God. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't want to openly admit that I am God. He didn't know his Channa avatar. Even Prahlad Maharaj, in his conversations to his friends, he tells there is a Channa avatar after Kali Yuga that comes, a disguised avatar. Even Prahlad Maharaj predicted. You have to go through this Bhagavatam carefully. Do you remember? He says Channa avatar is coming. Prahlad Maharaj, when he's speaking to his friends in his class, he speaks there is a Channa avatar that will come after Kali Yuga, after the 3 yugas. So that's obviously none other than ours truly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sthavara Jangama Dekhe Na Dekhe Tara Murti Sarvatra Hoy Nija Ishtadeva Spurti. So that's why you're saying that. So these words are very technical, like, because he's talking about from total energy, the Mahatattva comes, from Mahatattva comes, the ego comes from the material nature comes, and then the 3 roots, there are 3 modes of material nature, and then there are 5 elements, and then da-da-da-da. They're very complex, but if you develop a vision, if you develop a darshan, if you develop a darshana, there is no difference, these verses are almost no difference with Vrindavan pastimes or Gopi Geet, for example. Because we from our mental, from our sometimes, some people will get conditioned and they read all this and this, oh, where is Gopi Geet, where is the next incarnation, where are the pastimes, where is the war, where is the Vrutrasura coming out with his sword, where is Indra coming out of his, the Vajrayudha. But a true devotee, Parikshit Maharaj, when he was listening to Bhagavatam, he was listening to both this kind of technical Sankhya, and he listens to Gopi Geet and Vrindavan pastimes, he sees no difference. He sees no difference. Oh, Haribol, Ian is here, my friend. Come here, take the hot seat. Come on, take the hot seat. So long time no see. So, when Parikshit Maharaj is listening to Bhagavatam from Shukra Maharshi and he goes to this technical philosophy, he doesn't see any difference. He doesn't see any difference between all this knowledge and Sankhya and the Vrindavan pastimes of Krishna. He doesn't see any difference. Once we develop that vision, you see, everywhere you see is Sthavara Jangama Dekhe. You don't see the mood, you don't see the forms of things, you see your Ishtadeva Spurti. It reminds you of your God. It reminds you of your Mahaprabhu. That is the position of a devotee. That's why these are very profound Nah, it's on silent, don't worry about it. Just keep it. All good? Okay. So, just leave it here. If it's troubling you, just leave it here. So, when a devotee listens to Sankhya, when a devotee reads Gopi Geet, or Brahmara Geet, or Avanti Brahmana Geet, or Bhumi Geet, or how many Geet do we have? We have about 7 Geets, don't we? Pingala Geet. There's about 6 Pingala Geet, Brahmana Geet, Avanti Brahmana Geet, Bhumi Geet, and the Rudra Geet. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, and we have Arjuna Geet, and we have Uddhava Geet. Oh my God, I keep going. So, for him, when he listens to Geet or he listens to Gopi Geet, for him it's the same, for a devotee. So, which is the reason I'm prefacing all this is because when we're reading this, we have to come to the position that we are almost reading, there's no difference between all these. Then our heart comes into this jnana. Because sometimes we get bored with jnana. But even the ecstatic movement of our wisdom, movement of our intellect, ecstatic movement of our intellect, when it is directed toward Krishna, that also becomes Bhakti Yoga. You may say, oh, Bhakti Yoga is just Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and Abhishek and all. No, when your intellect is directed toward Krishna in ecstasy, even that becomes Bhakti Yoga. That's the whole point. So simple doesn't mean gopis are simple devotees, or this devotee is simple devotee, this devotee is simple. That doesn't mean, sometimes we confuse simple to stupid, but no, it's not. Simple, they become so simple because they understand the grand panoramic view of Krishna. Jnana is included in their bhakti. And their ecstatic movement of their will, the ecstatic movement of their intelligence towards the absolute truth, rather Krishna, that transforms into Bhakti Yoga. Wow. Wow. How amazing is that? Does it change your day? Does it bring a new light into your day? It's amazing, isn't it? So, no problem with that. Yeah? So I want to take some time to explain these kind of verses, like for example, Prabhupada is explaining the total cosmic manifestation, the Mahatattva, from Mahatattva, the 24 devotion caves, all this. These kind of things before 15th century used to be common knowledge. Before the 14th, 15th century, if you spoke this knowledge, I'm just doing a little history, right? I'll just do a little history. If you go to like before 15th century, people read this, they had no problem. They said, what's new? That looks fine. Because they understood these kind of things in Aristotelic view, they understood these kind of things from Thomas Aquinas' point of view, and these were explained and categorized in what's called 4 causes. And people, this was just elementary knowledge in schools. If you go to schools, this was elementary knowledge. No problem at all. So they understood all these Bhagavatam in 4 divisions of causes. You want me to go through the 4 causes? 4 causes. The first cause they used to call is the material cause. The material cause meaning the matter, the conglomeration of matter, the permutations and combinations and how they transform, the vikaras, all the transformation. They call that the material cause. And second thing what they call is called an efficient cause. Efficient cause is where Ian actually puts his consciousness, his will into matter and transform things into different things. There's wood, for example. Do you have a good hand with wood? Do you have some? Yeah, you can get a couple of things from Bunnings, tools from Bunnings, and you can do something around it, right? IKEA, yeah? If I throw into IKEA, you'll come out with, yeah, sure. So there is matter in IKEA, but Ian Prabhu goes, or our devotee Kapila Muni goes. I think our Manakrit Das Prabhu. Manakrut Prabhu, I'm sure he's good with his handiwork also. So you put him in there, IKEA, you give him a box, and then he uses intelligence and he reads that handbook and he makes a little coffee table out of it. What happened now? You have a material cause and now you have a final cause. Yeah? And there is another cause called, third cause called formal cause. Formal cause is what this, you might wonder, why is he talking about all this? See, in this verse, there is a special mention made of aham rupa. And Prabhupada translates it to ego, false ego. But actually, the word for false ego mostly is ahankara, mamakara, all this. But why is Prabhupada translating aham rupas into false ego? There's a new word, did you notice that? Usually a false ego is ahankara, is that right, Manakrit? Mamakara, isn't it? Rishabhadev's verse, aham mameti, remember? So, usually for false ego, the words like ahankara and mamakara are used, but in this case they're using aham rupa. You have to notice these things. Why? But why? Rupa is form. Aham rupa means along with yourself, you're also bringing a relatable forms that you're attracted to in this world. You come with a concept of your own attractions and prejudices into this world. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You're attracted to something, for example. That attraction is because of a form. Pizza form, for example, Mahaprasad form, or a beautiful, drop-dead, gorgeous angel form, in high school, right? Wow, what, drop-dead, gorgeous, she looked at me today. Or the girls, wow, that's cute, isn't he? Actually, I think, he looked at me today. A form, right? It attracts us. We already bring those prejudices with us. So that's why it's say aham rupa, not ahankara or mamakara. When you're reading this, you have to pay attention at the Sanskrit words. It helps. So that's the reason I'm talking about these four causes of Aristotle. So the third cause I said was formal cause. Because the matter is being formed into the forms that you can utilize, that is intelligible and utilizable for you. Do you understand? So, we did three causes. Now we have final cause. Last one. What is the last cause? The final cause is final cause. So we have four causes. Let's go through. Number one, material cause. Number two, efficient cause. Because Manakrut Das adds his intelligence and cuts the furniture and makes a coffee table. 3. Formal cause, because the coffee table is form, right? It's a form. So that you can utilize, you can intelligibly, you can reason and rationally, you can use it, right? The final is final cause. Fantastic. So it's called teleology. The final cause is the purpose in your life. Meaning and purpose. Ramdas Maharaj was recently here and he was talking, he gave a talk in Kirtan, Sydney. He spoke a lot about this. The purpose and meaning is, you are driven by purpose and meaning in your life, and that purpose and meaning is provided by Bhagavatam and Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I have a recording of that, I can forward it to you. Yeah. So, fantastic lecture. He really expands it. I'm only just touching here and there. So, we're dying for meaning, we're dying for purpose in life. If you didn't have a purpose in life, if you didn't have a purpose in life, if you didn't have a purpose and meaning for life, even if you haven't found it, at least the search and seeking for it makes it worth it, doesn't it? Don't you feel accomplished at heart? Say if you didn't have a meaning in life, you're just here doing things. Do you feel satisfied? There's something missing in your life. You're depressed. You don't like your life. Why? Because there's no meaning, there's no purpose. You don't have anything to accomplish in this life. Can you imagine a life where you don't have anything to accomplish? Nothing to look forward to, nothing to become, no role model. Now it will make sense to you. No role model. I'm sure you all have a role model in your life, don't you? That you want to become, like a devotee, or a kirtanier, or a good chanter, or a good talker, or a good philosopher, or a good Bhagavata. You have a role model in your mind, don't you? Yes or yes? You do. And your meaning is purpose, and meaning is purpose is driven by having a role model in your mind, and you're always working towards it. Then you have a meaning and you have a purpose. Otherwise, the life is just waste. It's depressing. You have to go and see a psychologist. And we have mixed feelings about psychologists here. So we have our Kapilamuni Prabhu has mixed feelings about psychologists. Understandable. So what I'm trying to say is, when you don't have a meaning and purpose, it becomes a waste. The life is just meaningless. I've seen so many school students, like even devotee children. You might think, oh my God, what is he talking about? Devotee children in the sense, children that are born in so-called devotee families. They can't find a purpose and meaning. They don't understand. They haven't been given the right context of Bhagavatam. And finally, the life doesn't have a meaning. They don't have a role model. And when you're not working towards a role model, at least your guru should be your role model. I'm not saying Diksha Guru, initiate, doesn't matter. Anybody that is guiding you, a Diksha Guru, doesn't matter. Whoever it is, you have a role model, you have meaning. So these are always driving our lives. And this was just common knowledge. Before 15th century, these was, you read this, Bhagavatam, you say, yeah, what's news? That sounds absolutely fine. Makes absolutely perfect sense. Now you try to go and read this in University of Sydney. Just try it, Manakrit. Just take a picture of this, just take a screenshot or a photo of this, go to the University of Sydney and try to read this. The total energy of the cosmic manifestation is the Mahatattva. From the Mahatattva, all the 24 divisions have sprung, and namely the 11 senses and the 5 sense objects and the 5 material elements, and then the consciousness and the intelligence. What are you talking about? Where did you come from? And what's with your outfit? You know what I'm saying? They have no idea what you're talking about. What happened? What happened? Do you want to know? Do you want to know what happened? Why is this world in this state of complete confusion and complete, let me use some hygienic language. Messed up, that's a better word, yeah? Why is it so messed up? What happened? Even the educational systems, I'm not just talking about the wars, the current Ukraine, Russia war, Palestine and Israel. I'm not talking this Syrian, I'm not talking big wars, messed up. I'm just talking messed up even in the educational systems. Because people always, whenever we talk about messed up, people always go to the far extreme. North Korea, China, the wars, the prejudice and the big nuclear weapon. No. I'm just talking simple mess up. Why don't universities understand simple philosophy like that? Don't we go through the history? Yeah? Will that help? Okay. 1858. There was a gentleman, his name was Charles Darwin. UK. Ours truly, we have a poem here, Ian. So, he was from Edinburgh University, and then eventually he went to Cambridge. Yeah, correct. He started in Edinburgh and eventually ended up in Cambridge. What happened was, he was actually from a very Christian background. But he took a holiday, he had some ill health. He had stomach problems. His child passed away when she was only 5 years old. He had continuous stomach disease, some kind of disease in his stomach. So he went, and he was also a very explorative guy. He went to this island, and then he started noticing some species, and he came from with this new idea and he wrote a book called Origin of the Species. It's actually, the title is very misguiding, because it's not origin of the species. All he observed was the variation of species. So he noticed these finches, and he noticed this called bark spiders. Depending on the climatic conditions, depending on the survival, sometimes these finches varied their feathers, or the bark spiders varied their anatomies, depending on the surroundings. I have a Punjabi friend who was born in Alaska. He came to meet me here in Sydney. I couldn't tell he was an Indian. He was born in Alaska. He was brought up in Alaska. His hair is ginger, like literal Rango. You understand Rango? Yeah, okay. You understand that. So literally a Rango. He's a Punjabi. Kithe Paji. As soon as he saw me, he said, Kithe Paji. I said, I said, yeah, you look like Rango, mate. You look like a German to me, like, mixed German, and what's going on here? And he's just transformed. So what happened is his features changed, that's all, because of the climatic condition. He hasn't become a new species. He's still a Punjabi. He still speaks Thed Punjabi. He still says Sat Sri Akal. He still says Kithe Paji. He's not a new species. So in the same way, when Charles Darwin went and noticed these variations in the finches and the bark spiders, he just noticed some variations, and I looked at it and I'm going, why did you name your book Origin of Species? Because all you noticed, all you observed is a variation. So he published this book, and it became a massive hit. And he had a right-hand bulldog, and his name is Thomas Huxley. And listen to this carefully, Manakrit. What happened was, he was never an atheist. Charles Darwin was never an atheist. But his followers, people like Thomas Huxley, they took it too far, and they framed it as if, because of the natural selection, species are originating, so there is no need for God. And Charles Darwin's associate who worked with him, Sir Alfred Wallace, he said, we never said that. We never said that there is no God. Who said that? We just saying the species originates due to survival. Who said there is no God? Oh, too late. Too late. There's already a big debate in Oxford Royal Museum between Wilberforce and Thomas Huxley, fabricated, and apparently the theists and the devotees were defeated. And here comes the new education, evolution. Then comes the new biology, then comes the new science, then comes the new physics, then comes everything is new. And now after that comes, then obviously after that the universities took over, and now we are completely in this atheistic education that everything is physical and natural selection. That is the history. Obviously prior to that Galileo was executed, and the prosecution, that wasn't, so they took all the excuses, and the Christian battles, Protestants and Reformations, they thought, this religion is just an absolute mess. Let's completely do away with religion. How can we do away with religion? Here we have Charles Darwin's book, Origin of Species. Natural selection, survival of the fittest, there's no need for God. But guess what? The more they try to do away with God, the more God comes back. The more they try to do away with Krishna, Krishna comes back with a big smile. Haribol! And they're thinking, what is going on here? Why? Krishna keeps coming back. They try to do away. Yada yada hi dharmasya glane bhavati bharata abhyuthana dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyo paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrita dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. The more they try to do away, then Krishna comes back with a big smile. Ah, I'm back. You try to do away. Doesn't work. Why? How? Do you know how? Do you want me to explain? Because after they struggle like this for now 200 years trying to do away with God, finally they come to a point, it's called the problem of consciousness. They cannot explain how consciousness comes out of physics, matter. They cannot explain how on God's planet consciousness came from. So Krishna is back. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagna nirvapanam. Cheta, chitta, consciousness. He starts his Shishtakrishtakam with that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts with the problem. Cheto darpanamarjanam, chitta, the consciousness. They can't, and they don't understand how does consciousness come. Okay, you can put everything. Here is the thing. Here is, listen to this carefully. I know it's my classes are a little philosophical and a lot of academic. Just bear with me. I'll bring the boat back to the bank safely. Yeah, I promise. So it's called pleonastic fallacy, and I'll tell you what it means. Pleonastic fallacy. It's called pleonastic fallacy, and I'll explain what it means. Any object you see in this world, is always more than the sum total of its ingredients. Your head is spinning now. I'll explain to you. Any object you see in this world is always much more than the sum total of its ingredients. Yeah? I'll explain. Prabhupada gives two simple examples to explain this in his Bhagavatam. Simple examples. Prabhupada gives this example. So let's go back to Prabhupada because he can go through these very simple examples. He says, for example, I'll give a scientist an egg. I'll give a scientist an egg, for example. What does egg consist of? Some calcium, some synthetic starch, and some synthetic proteins. Yeah, some synthetic starch, some synthetic proteins, and the nucleus, and calcium, the shell made of calcium, and some other mixtures. I'll give you, okay, you can buy this in the market. Did you know you can buy all this in the market? You can buy synthetic starches, you can buy synthetic carbs, you can buy synthetic purees, you can buy calcium. Prabhupada says, put together and make an egg. Could anybody make an egg? They can't. Why? Because the sum total of its ingredients exceeded and became something else, an object that we can never make. I'll give you another more simple example. A lemon in the garden. What does it have? Some citric acid, some fiber. You can actually buy this in the market. Can you put together and make a lemon? You can't. The object always turns out to be much more than the combination and total ingredients. It always happens. Take our body, Panchabhuta, right? Bhumi Rapo Amlo Vayu Khamano Buddhidevacha Ankara Itiyame Bhinnapaka. You can get all this. But when the form of Manakrita Das, when the form of Kapila Muni Prabhu, Devati Kapila Muni, or Ian Prabhu, or Jairadhika Mataji here, the form of Jairadhika Mataji, that form of Manakrita Das is much more then the ingredients your body is made of. Because now you have a consciousness, you have intelligence, you have will, your intentions, you have desires, you have something to contribute, you have purpose, you have meaning. Where is this coming from? They can't explain. I'm serious. I'm not speaking like some Hare Krishna fanatic. I'm serious. It's called, there is a name for it. It's called, what Prabhupada is talking about, the egg and the lemon, there's actually a name for it. It's called pleonastic fallacy. To think that a combination of everything becomes an object. It doesn't. The object is always turns out to be more than the combination of its ingredients. Now, how is this happening? Then you have to go back to Ekopyasau rachayitum jagadanda kotim Yachaktirasti jagadanda chayaya danta Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Did you see how it all connects back? See, I told you I'll bring the boat safe to the bank. I promised. And I brought the boat back safe to the bank. Why? What is this saying? Ekopyasura chaitum jagadanda kotyam. There's millions of universe, millions of forms, millions of atoms. Yat shaktirasti jagadanda chayayadanta. I, as my representative energy, enter into it and animate this process. There is an animator of the process. So I am the animator of the process. I am lodging the material nature into this and everything gets animated. So I am the animator. Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastam. Andantarastha paramanu. Not just this globe of universe. Anda, globe. I don't know how in God's planet they thought Earth is flat. Because there's like at least, I can pick like at least 800 references in Vedic library where the universe has been called Anda. I'm serious. I can refer 800, I can make 800 references in Veda base where this globe has been referred to as Anda. So who was thinking the earth was flat before 8th century? I don't get it. I don't get it. So Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastam, I am entering into even Paramanu, little atoms, and I'm animating this. So you have all this called material nature, you have this calcium, you have this synthetic fibers and starches and nucleus and all, but how did the egg come? Because someone is animating it. How did the lemon become lemon? Because someone is animating it. How did Manakrit Das come to this particular form? Although the combination of Manakrit Das is Bhumirapo Anlovayu Kamano Buddhirevacha, and my ingredients are Bhumilapo Anlovayu Kamano, and your ingredients are the same. Bhumirapo Anlovayu Kamano. But why did you become Jai Radhika Mataji? Why did I become what's my name? Just joking. So why did I become we need to have a sense of humor. So how did you become Manakrit Das if all the elements are the same? Because there is someone animating the body, the super soul. That is what he's talking about when Prabhupada is saying the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of Mahatattva, and therefore in one sense, because everything is an emanation from the Supreme Lord, there is no difference between the Lord and the cause of manifestation. Bingo. See, I took on a scenic route, but I brought you back home. Yeah? You happy? It might sound a little boring initially, but I can bring you back home. So, read a little bit more, or do you want to? Swarat means independent. Now this is interesting in the purport because God is called Swarat usually. Yeah? Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaya Muyanti Yatsugaya. Yeah? We remember that word? Swarat. Yeah? Abhigna Swarat. Yeah? Now the soul is being called Swarat. Why? Now how is this? How can God be Swarat and how can you be Swarat? Say in the morning I come to you and says, and say, sorry, I keep forgetting that fantastic musician, Prabhu. Chitta Prabhu, fantastic. We have a Prabhupada disciple here, his name is Chitta Prabhu. So if I went to Chitta Hari Prabhu in the morning, every morning, and I say, Chitta Hari Prabhu is Swarat. And he go, what are you talking? What's the problem with you? You've been okay until yesterday. I see you, your pictures, or you see you talking, you're okay. I told, what happened to you today? Swarat in the sense, he is Swarat in the complete, absolute, unconditional sense. We are also Swarat in a conditional sense. For that, I will have to make a reference to Sir David Attenborough. Ian? David Attenborough? You remember him? The nature shows in the UK? Sir David Attenborough? Of course. So David Attenborough, you have to say Sir David Attenborough now. You can't just say David Attenborough. It's an offense, you know. So Sir, I'm serious, yes, it's an offense. Like Shri, Sir is Shri. The English Sir comes from Sanskrit Shri. Yeah. So you have to say Sir David Attenborough. You can't just say David Attenborough. Like it's a great offense. So Sir David Attenborough. So Sir David Attenborough does these natural shows. Like when he's done these shows on dolphin, like big, not dolphins, sorry, whales. So you have this big blue, the biggest blue whale, right? It's in the middle of the Atlantic, just galloping from one sea to the other. And you can call it, in one sense, you can call it a Swarat of the ocean, right? But there is a little dolphin, there is a little calf, the little calf whale, just underneath the two calves. The dolphin has given birth. Sorry, the whale, I keep saying dolphin. The whale has given birth. And when the whale is going as a Swarat of the ocean, these little calf whales, they are just going with the mother or the father as freely as the mother and the father. Why? Because they are so protected. Try even touching that little calf in front of the mother whale. You could be going on big Caribbean cruise or this PCO, South Pacific cruise. You mess with that little dolphin, the mother will topple your fish. And she'll actually call help. Few dolphins on top of the whole ship. Don't get them crazy. So we are like that little calf dolphin with this big mother-father dolphin Krishna. When he is Swarat and you're protected under him as a calf dolphin, as a spark dolphin, whale, I don't know why I keep saying whale, dolphin, whale, then you're as protected as him. So there's no problem in calling a soul a Swarat. There's no problem with that. You understand where I'm trying to go from? Yeah? You understand? So if you can see Krishna, if you can develop this vision of Krishna, even when you're talking knowledge, or even you're talking Gopi Geets, even if you're talking Kapila Sankhya, or even if you're talking the 11 Yogendras complex philosophy, or you're talking Uddhava Gita, or you're talking Bhumi Gita, or you're talking Rudra Gita, or you're talking Pracheta's angers towards all the trees, or you're talking Durasumani being chased by the Sudarshan Chakra, or you're talking Brahmagra Gita by Radhika Mataji, the Radhika Rani. When you're talking about, there's no difference for a devotee. Why? Sthavara Jangama Dekhe, Na Dekhe Tara Murti, Sarvatra Hoy. Yeah, now you see a whale in the Atlantic Ocean with a calf. You see yourself, Krishna, and you protected under him. You see the total material energy, you see all the chemicals and the ingredients and the material forces, but you see the animator as super soul. Andantarastha Pramanuchayantarastham Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. You develop these eyes. Wherever you see Krishna. There's no lust anymore. What lust? What's lust? What's the problem with lust? Why lust? Why anger? Why greed? Why money? What's the problem? Oh, I want to make a lot of money because I want to donate to some projects, some spiritual projects. Okay, but why are you doing that at the cost of your soul? Why there's so much problem with this sex? Why so much problem with drugs? Why so much problem with this greed for money? Why? Because you have because you're not developing the eye to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu everywhere in the representation of his energy. Then you might say, how can you do that, Prabhuji? We have 10 minutes, so let me cover that quickly. Too much philosophy, or can I cover one more point? Is it interesting, or are you thinking, why does this guy come to this temple? Next time, just lock the door if you see his name on it. One more, you want me to cover one more thing? Yeah, is it okay? So, you might say, like, how can you do, okay, Radhika Prasad, thanks for bringing the boat safe to the bank. So you talked a lot about the animator. So how do you see this animator? How do you see an animator in things? Because, yeah, please. Very good, that's a good start here. God, Ian, you are a legend. Come on, you gotta get this. Come on, get it. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. You see an artist in the paint. See, I'm happy you're back. Welcome back, Ian. Where did you go? We missed you. So I miss everybody. I said I miss Chandan Chachin Prabhu, I miss Ian Prabhu, I miss when you're not there, you, I miss Radhika Prabhu and Chaitanya Mataji. I think we can even call you Prabhu. They call these days. Radhika Mataji. No, for me you are that level, I can call you Prabhu. So Kumara, and we have Chitta Hari Prabhu. So I miss everybody, trust me, I'm serious. So you said very good point. So you see an animator, you see an artist in the paint, right? So I'll give you this last scientific thing, okay? After that you can have the Nurofen pills and you must be getting headache. I have some Nurofen right in my bag. So the problem is what they call is it a closed physical circuit. Will you remember all this? So the current education tells us that everything is a closed physical circuit. They're saying everything is deterministic and everything can be determined and explained in a closed physical circuit. That's what they call the closed physical circuit. Again, the problem with even when they're trying to explain the closed physical circuit, the problem still remains that they cannot explain the purpose of this closed physical circuit. So let's agree, for example, let's agree for a moment. Let's agree with this current education. Let's agree with the natural selection. Let's agree with the survival of the fittest. Let's agree with the I keep forgetting that. Mutation, sorry. Okay, chance mutation. Mutant. So chance mutation. Let's agree with everything. Right? Let's agree with everything. What is the purpose of this? What even we agree with these people, ठीक है, हिंदी समझता है, ठीक है, हिंदी समझता है कि नहीं, समझता है, अच्छा, ठीक है, let's agree with this, huh? What is the purpose of this? Even let's agree with that, but you can't still explain the purpose and meaning. So if you don't bring the purpose, if you don't bring this final cause, that we are all, regardless of what we are, regardless of an atheist or agnostic or a humanist or a Gaudiya Vaishnavist or a Buddhist or a Islamist or a Christianist or isms and this, whatever it is, if we cannot explain that all these different methods philosophers are, if we cannot explain that they're all progressing towards a meaningful, purposeful end, You haven't even explained the physical circuit. Now then, when you bring a purposeful end, then what is the automatic other side of the story? If you bring a purposeful end to this, there is a purpose and meaningful end to this world, what is an automatic conclusion? Krishna. In Krishna. What have you eaten today, Ian? What exactly? If you're talking about a purposeful, see, I'm very happy because it's making sense. If you're able to estimate what I'm trying to say, that means it's making sense. So I'm very happy. If you are concluding that all this has a purposeful and meaningful end, the automatic conclusion is there was a purposeful beginning, an intended creation. Now, when you see a purposeful end and meaningful end to it, and when you see an intentional beginning to it, now how hard is it to see an animator? How hard is it to see that someone is actually animating this universe? That's exactly what Prabhupada is saying. That's what this word is saying. Vapur andam jagad yatha. Similarly, the universe has come from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We've come bingo. We come back to the words. Did you see? We come right back to the purport in the Prabhupada words. Isn't this fantastic? Isn't this fantastic to be able to see Krishna as an animator everywhere? And then you have purpose in your life. And then you can understand there is an intentional beginning. When you have an intentional beginning and when you have an intentional purpose, then what that means is now you can be safe. You can be used. You will happy to be used by Krishna. Okay, last point. This will change this point. Your life will never remain the same after this. Your life will never remain the same after this. The reason you have or people have problem to be utilized and become an instrument in God's hand is because they fear that they will be misused. Because that's what happened in this world all the time. Every time you offer yourself to someone, you get misused. Isn't it correct? Isn't it the story of this world? Yes or yes? Yeah? There's only one answer. Now, because we've been misused so much in this world, when we offer ourselves for the utility, we are fearful. But please understand, let me assure you, when Krishna uses you, he never misuses you. Tasmatum uttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrum rajyam bhungsham nimittamatram maya neva nita purvameva nimittamatram bhavasavyasaacham tasmatum uttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrum bhungsham rajyam samagram maya veta nita purvameva nimittamatram bhavasavyasaacham. So Krishna says, you become my instrument. I will use you. And Arjuna said, Yatechasi tatha kuru. I know you will never misuse me, so Yatechasi tatha kuru. Whatever you are ordering, I'm happy with that. You understand? So, now, in the last 2 minutes, do you have any problem to be used by Krishna? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, look at this now. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, I don't have a problem even if you misuse me. Ashli Shava Padartam Pinashtuma Adarshnan Manmatam Karutva Yatha tatha vidhatalam patoma pranatha sevanava. That's completely different level. But still, let me please assure you, when Krishna uses you, Krishna doesn't misuse you because Krishna is more surrendered to you than you are surrendered to him. Did you know that? You left him. You left him. I left him. He never left us. He is more surrendered to you than you are to him. So when he uses you, he'll never misuse you. If anything, it's like a doctor working with you to make you a better person. So there's no problem. Don't worry about anything. But nobody understands all this. The educations are all falsified. They're all, there's a lot of malfunction going on. So what is our job now? What is your, my job now that we've got this? Now that we can see the final cause. Now you can see the formal cause. Now you can see yourself as an efficient cause. Now you can see the material causes. Now you can see the animator. Just summarize the whole thing, Now you can see the animator. Now you can see it's not a closed circuit. Now you can see any object that you see is always more than the combination of its ingredients. Now you can see all this. Now you can see, wherever you see, you have your Ishtadeva Spurti. You're in the temple, you have Ishtadeva Spurti. You're out in the park across the road, you have Ishtadeva Spurti. You're standing with books on the road, someone spits at you, you still see your Ishtadeva Spurti. You understand? So then when you see that, with great power comes great responsibility. We have great power in our hands. So what do we have? Great responsibility now. Now we have to pass this. Experiential knowledge. Not phonetics, not doctrinized, not dogmatic, not doctrines, not fanaticism. Experiential Vigyan. Gnana Vijnana Sahitam. Yajnatva Moksha Se Shubhat. Yeah? Param Bhuya Prakshami. Gnananam Gnanam Uttamam. Gnanam Vijnana Sahitam. Yajnatva Moksha Se Shubhat. Param Bhuya Prakshami. He starts that 14th verse. Let me start again. Gnanam Gnanam Uttamam. The best of the knowledge. He just said, I'm telling you the best of the knowledge like 5 times in 5 chapters. And again in 14 chapters, Param Bhuya Paraksham. Let me do this again. Bhuya. Again, I'm going to give you top knowledge. Gnanam Gnanam Uttam. Yadnatma Moksha Se Shubhat. So it's not just about becoming free, just us becoming free. We become free with everybody together. It's not like, gold pass in the Hoyts theatres. Oh, I got a gold pass, you don't have one. I'm going to Vaikuntha, yeah. You struggle here in the material planet, yeah. No. Everybody we meet, you give them this knowledge. Everybody you see, you give Krishna. Everybody you talk, you give Krishna. That's our job, full-time job. Everybody you meet, everybody you talk, everybody you embrace, everybody you eat with, everybody you go with, everybody you travel with. You give Krishna, you take Krishna. Beautiful. Why do you need sex? Why do you need drugs? Why do you need all the men clubs? Why do you need all the... And now there's even female clubs. Why do you need all that? When you have Krishna, like intoxicating, like Menakit Ramadas, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Okay, I think I'll stop bothering you now. I think I have some Nurofen, don't worry. And I've did the words, so it's not like, Radhika Prasad, good class. He doesn't talk about the words. So I brought back home safely. You're happy. Again, I really want to thank you, everybody, Jai Radhika Mataji, Ian Prabhu, Manakrit, Kapila Muni, Chitta Haridas Prabhu, and Mataji here. She was very patiently. I just really from my heart, I want to thank you because I understand it's not easy to listen to my blabber. Don't think that I don't understand your pain, okay? So please never be deluded that I don't understand your pain. I understand your pain sitting in my class. So thank you very much. And don't go by my physical tones and all the animated gestures. I'm very happy to be corrected if you have any questions or comments. Very happy to be corrected. What is the question? Oh, did I answer? What was it? I mean, I just for curiosity, I want to know. Oh, fantastic! Correct. Oh, so you took that last paragraph, last. How did you understand? I want to hear how you understood. I know what I said, but I want to see how you understood. Please, could you? How did you understand? Oh, you understood. You don't want to repeat. That's okay. I don't want to embarrass you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hitaji Prabhu. You are a spark with that harmonium. Without your harmonium, doesn't like. It's Oh, you want to hear from me again? Oh, really? Okay. Sorry. Oh, I'm very sorry. Sorry, can you repeat that? Sorry. Oh, very nice question. Okay, so interestingly, that was a point I wanted to make, but I forgot, and you reminded that. Usually, what happens, Chitahari Prabhu, is in this world. Usually, information is confused to be knowledge, and knowledge is confused to be wisdom. I'll repeat it. Most of the time in this world, information is confused to be knowledge, and lot of knowledge is confused to be wisdom. But when you utilize this information that you have about Mahamantra, this taste that you have with Mahamantra, and you direct, when this is directed towards the absolute truth, which is Hare Krishna, the medium is Krishna, the subject is Krishna, and the object is Krishna. You understand? When the subject and the medium and the object are absolutely Krishna, when we understand this Achintya Veda Tattva, when you understand that there was never a time we were not Krishna conscious. This life is little dot in eternity. When we understand that position, Jiva Swarupa Krishna Nitya, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, Sadhya Kabu Noy. The Chitta Kavu. So when we use our intellect and will, and when we use our intentions towards this absolute in ecstasy, that process, doesn't matter it's karma kanda, doesn't matter it's jnana kanda, doesn't matter it's upasana kanda, it automatically becomes bhakti kanda. And once you come into this yoga, but this is only possible, this is the ingredient, right? This is the punchline of the story. Please listen to this one. But this only happens when you are always listening to and associating with people who already have attained that, who are tasting that. When you're with someone who is tasting that, when you're listening, hearing, talking, tasting that, what is the automatic result? You will taste that. I don't usually like sweets much. But my daughter keeps saying, Rabdi papa, rasgulla papa, rabdi papa, rasgulla papa, rabdi papa, rasgulla papa. I don't normally eat taste, I don't know sweets. But one day she's not there, there's a rabdi in the kitchen. Like the whole thing, not just a little bite. Someone has a taste, he's understood, like he or she has understood this panoramic view, vijnana, and then you associate with them, what happens to you? You get the taste. You may not present, you may present it very simply, but we can't be in a delusion of how high you are, how much taste you acquired. We can't just judge you from externally. You know what taste you have, accumulated by being in the satsanga. Satsangatve, nisangatva, nisangatve, nirmohatva, nirmohatve, nirgunatatva, nischalatatva. Nischalatatva, jivan mukti. This is from Shankaracharya. Can you believe? Shankaracharya. Satsangatve, nisangatva, nisangatve, nischalatatva, nischalatatva, nirmohatva, nirmohatva, jivan mukti. So of course he is using mukti, but we can use bhakti. We can say nischalatatva, jivan bhakti. Just replace it, yeah? Jivan bhakti, no problem. Does that make sense? You happy with that? Okay. So, I think I'll end there now. Vancha kalpatarubhasya, krupa sindhubhayavacha, patitanam bhavanebhyo, vaishnavina namaha. Please accept my humble obeisances and please continue giving me your sangha. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, just turn this off first before I talk something that will get recorded and backfires on me. Just joking, just joking.